Hello, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about fear. So, recently, I'll start with a story. I was at work and I had this coworker kind of tell me something that I didn't think was right. We got in a little disagreement, but in more or less a polite way by email. And I don't know, ever since then it rubbed me like the wrong way, and it was like I was still feeling it the following day and the day after, and it was like the incident itself wasn't like the biggest deal, but it was more like if this has ever happened to you guys, it's like the way it felt, that like lingering feeling that for whatever reason just really got under your skin and it really bothered you and it just won't like release its hold. It's like you keep feeling this like that same vibration that you felt like the moment that you like initially like got upset. And so I like went to my toolbox, my spiritual toolbox, and just going through the motions of okay, like asking creator and the angels to take away the feeling. It should have been my first clue. Like when it didn't go away, that means from my personal experience that there's something that I need to learn about it. So I basically went into the feeling and felt the feelings because like a lot of it was like me trying to like just be like, oh, it's not bothering me. But then I realized like, no, I got to feel the feelings. I got to experience it. So then I sat in the Discord and exactly what that feeling was. And then I felt better after that. Then it was still there. So then, like the next day, like journaled it out and it felt a lot better. And it gave me some insights. But it was like still there. And so then eventually I like came to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, no. Like I'm not gonna feel this way and I don't even need that discord in my life. And it actually opened up my eyes to realize like, hey, like this is actually a bigger issue about me like sitting in an office with somebody who's like constantly putting out this like frequency that can be felt like every day, and this person's like really loud and really vocal, and nothing wrong with that per se, but it's just like their frequency is just like this, it's like you can't miss it kind of thing. It's like you can't help but notice it. And I think like part of the reason I didn't notice it as much before, it's like I knew it was there, but because they also like I can also tell that this person like has a really good heart, and that's also a part of who they are, but they just emit this like fight frequency. Like they think everything's kind of like a fight, like they gotta like battle people, and that's like constantly like what I feel, and I'm a huge feeler, so like feel that like coming from them. And it's not just me, like everyone else in the office will feel it too, whether they're aware of it or not. But yeah, I just got at the point where I was like, you know what, like nah, like I'm sorry, but I'm not having that in my life anymore. It's like it's gotta go. Like I'm not experiencing that. I'm not gonna put up with it. Like it's gotta go. And I'm very firm in that like knowing. And this has happened a couple times before, like over time, where I had the same thing happen, and then right away, like two of those coworkers, they got moved to a different office. So I'm really curious to see when I go back to work if something has happened. I'm really curious. The other thing that happened too is like I was standing at like a sink, which a lot of stuff happens at a sink. It's like something got that like running water, that like I'll get insights. And so I was like standing at the sink, and then I was like also like, okay, so what do I do with this energy? How do I work with it? Obviously there's a bigger lesson here. If like some of my standard tools like haven't been working, there's more for me to see, there's more on offer, there's more to like discover about this situation. If it's bothering me that much, which is out of like the normal, like it's reasonable for things to bother you, but then they just subside, they don't keep bothering you. But when something like this happens, it's like a clear indicator that there is something to be learned about the situation. So I'm like thinking about it, and then I'm like, okay, so like then I'm like imagining, my thought is like to imagine all the energy that I feel from this person, that discord going back to them as like a fast stream, like shooting back, like right back to them. And then like a part of me right away is thinking like, oh my gosh, like, is that okay? Like, I hope it doesn't hurt them. And I'm like thinking, no, like it's not hurting them, but why do I feel bad about like sending their energy back to them and not holding on to any of it? And I realized I was like kind of feeling it in my like lower like belly area. And it kind of felt like guilt. Like it almost felt like I need to like absorb their energy in a way, so that like they don't have so much of a burden. And I'm like, no, like I'm not taking on like the burden of this other person. Like I hope that, and I said prayers like that they get whatever help they need and bring light and love and, you know, blessings to the situation. Because I don't ever wish anything bad on anyone else. Absolutely not. But I also don't deserve to have that. And then as soon as I felt that, I just kept, and thought that, I just kept imagining this big ball of white light in my solar plexus chakra, my stomach, my energy, my power center. And I'm like, okay, like, I think like, you know, being someone who I think absorbs other people's feelings, being very empathic as I am, I think like I didn't realize I was doing this so much, and it's like brought it to my attention like, no, I'm not holding on to anybody else's feelings. I'm not doing that. That is yours. And then I think the next day, like it was mostly gone, but then I'd still like keep thinking about it. So I had to like cut off that thought stream. Like, you know, I've dealt with this. I'm not afraid of it. If there's something else I need to know, let me know. But otherwise, I'm not going to sit here feeling like this again another day. Like, sorry, it's my weekend, it's my time off, it's my time for me. So then my mind kind of like goes to scenarios of like where I've also felt other discord, like at the job that I'm currently at. And I know it's just the vibration of it in general that is like kind of bringing things up. It's a certain vibe, and I've definitely recognized that and working on ways to transition from it. But the reality is like I'm still there right now. And then it kind of brought up some other like scratchy energies that I've encountered with not coworkers, but people that I encountered like on a kind of regular basis, not too regularly, but sometimes like at my job, right? Just to work for different companies, but that I occasionally interact with. And you know what, I was like thinking like, you know how your mind just goes off. And I was like, I could just quit and then I wouldn't have to deal with this. And then I'm like, but I wouldn't want to quit at a time when I am experiencing these energies that are difficult, because then it's like I quit because I was afraid. And I'm not afraid to tackle these energies, and I'm not afraid to have the experiences, and I'm not afraid to go forward and do or say whatever I need to do. So like I definitely would never want fear to be a reason to like, you know, quit your job or to not say or do something. Like you just can't do that. That's not standing in integrity. Like you have to be yourself. You have to face the fears. And I want to face the things that, you know, I'm afraid of, the energies that I'm afraid to feel, the things that bother me. And then it kind of just brought up like the bigger picture of it all came back to like the common denominator here was fear. It's like I'm afraid to feel these like really discordant energies that I really don't want to feel. And the thing is like that I recognize, and that it's kind of got me to say out loud, is like I'm not afraid of it. Like I don't like it. I might not like it, but I'm not afraid to face these fears. I'm not afraid of the fear itself, because that's really all it is. When there's a feeling you don't want to experience, like you're afraid of the feeling, and I don't need to be afraid of the feeling. So a good thing to do is to like say that out loud. And, you know, just anytime you're in a difficult situation, like there's always like, you're getting to like the bottom of like the real reason why. It's like, yeah, this like little tiff was like the surface, but then there were like layers. And at the bottom of it, the heart of it, it really comes down to like fear-based energy, like fear of feeling certain ways and fear of dealing with difficult energies. But just because like I felt that fear doesn't mean that I'm not going to confront it and face it. And I think that's kind of like the moral of the story.